Name. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Daisies and Dragons. My name is Shubham, and today is day 2 of the Duet Bundle Marathon. Um, just so you know, I'm wearing a hoodie. My beard is nice and trimmed today. Very chuffed with it. I got it done this weekend. I have glasses on, and I'm joined by the wonderful, the chaotic, the extremely annoying Apri. Apri, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Apri, pronouns she, her. I'm wearing a yellow hoodie. I have glasses, very badly cut bangs, yellow bandana, and yellow headphones.
Uh, did you say very badly cut bangs?
Yeah, I cut
Yeah.
these myself. There's a reason why they look like
I mean,
shit.
I shave my hair as by myself as well. Uh,
If
okay.
you're completely shaving it. There's like no way to go wrong.
I mean, you'd be surprised. But with that out of the way, today we are playing. How do you say it, Apri? How do you say the game?
Blase Monotony.
Blase Monotony. Do you want to tell us how this game works?
Okay, so essentially, this game is about two people having a conversation at work. One person is out on the field, and one person is essentially in mission control. I had two versions of it, one with an astronaut and one with like a spy. We're
Mhm.
gonna be doing the space version today because, of course, uh, we flipped for it earlier, and Shubham is doing mission control. I am doing the astronaut,
Yeah.
and essentially we draw cards and we ask each other questions.
Huh? How do we start?
We start with me. I am field essentially, and you are control. That is how we refer to each other. We don't have names or pronouns or anything. All we are to each other is field and control. So
Feel
I
and control.
start by saying, I'm bored, talk to me.
Got
And
it.
you draw the first card,
Hmm?
go for
Okay.
it.
All right. Drawing the first card. It is a seven of. I think this is a spade. Yeah, this is spades.
So for this game, the suit doesn't really matter. We only worry about what numbers we're pulling.
Uh huh.
So for a seven, you get to ask me a question. And seven is what is the most annoying thing about being in space?
Field,
Um,
tell me, what's the most annoying thing about being in space?
hmm. Um,
Can I take three guesses before you answer?
sure.
Is it that the food is always something you have to have through a straw,
I can have solid food, you know.
but it's like pasty or very dry so that it doesn't break into particulates and then get into the
There's
ventilation?
a solution to that. You mix the dry and the mushy, you get something that's vaguely palatable.
All right, so it's not the food. Is it being trapped in I would imagine, I don't know how big the ISS is, but being trapped in the ISS with your other two field members.
I used to live in like a one of those like pod hotels that they have in like Japan. I don't know what the name for that is. Like pod hotel, I guess.
Well, there's the love hotels, if that's what you're talking about. Are those the ones you're talking about?
No, like there's ones where like it's essentially you go in. There's like you have like a tiny pod and that's
Mhm.
all you have. That's
Okay,
all you live in. It's very claustrophobic.
right.
But I used to live in one of those. So
Mhm.
this is like an improvement.
Sure, yeah, I can definitely imagine. So it's not that. Okay. How
Last
about,
year.
is it uh, how going to the bathroom over there? Because I imagine if someone makes it stinky, it's a problem. Because we quite haven't figured out how to purify the air the way to get rid of the scents, as one might say.
Stink is not as much as a problem
Mhm.
as is the fact that if you miss, it goes everywhere.
Oh wow, you can miss.
Yeah, if If sometimes like the gravity thing isn't working, you can
Mhm.
miss and it goes everywhere.
I
That's a
see.
little annoying.
Fair enough. That does sound annoying. Okay, but so it's not these three. Tell me what is the most annoying thing about being in space?
You can't scream without having your headset on. And if I have my headset on, I can't scream because then you're gonna hear it. I can't scream. And if I do scream, I can't hear my scream back at me, which like it makes the screaming very unfulfilling if you can't hear the scream. The
Interesting. I've never
scream.
thought about the difficulties of screaming. Not a screamer myself.
I can assume so. When would you scream? You can't
Usually,
be a
if something's going wrong during takeoff, that's when I scream. But I'm not really a screamer, so that doesn't. I mostly just calmly panic.
yeah.
All right,
I've gotten used to it as well. You can't scream if you don't hear it back. It's not
fair,
as fulfilling.
fair enough. Yeah. What happens next? Tell me.
Okay, next, I pull a card. So you pull a card for me, essentially, because
Sure.
you're the one with the card.
You drew a jack.
Okay, so for a jack, I get to ask you a question. What was the last thing you bought for yourself that wasn't a necessity?
Last thing I bought for myself that wasn't a necessity.
Let me also take three guesses.
Go for it.
Hmm. One of those, one of those bookmarks that holds your book in place, so you don't have to like hold it open. You can read it with one hand.
I'm a Kindle person.
Oh my god, I should have expected it.
Books just, I mean, if you ever want to go to space, the less you have to carry, the better. So Kindle it is.
Let's be honest, you're never getting to space. You're like
I
you're
don't know.
not gonna
Someday,
be an astronaut.
no. I wouldn't be driving the ship, but I mean, if you need to colonize Mars, you will need engineers, right?
Okay,
Yeah. See,
okay. I
yeah.
do believe you'll be staying back on Earth if we do decide to colonize Mars, but okay, sure.
That, I won't take that as a personal insult whatsoever. Not going to
Um,
internalize this. Not going to internalize this. Not going to internalize this.
my second guess is one of those air curtains where like when you like walk through like an airport or like a big mall, they like sort of flush you down with air so that you
Sure.
don't bring in any dirt and stuff inside the place.
I did not buy that, but I also wouldn't call that an unneeded, like unnecessary purchase because getting rid of dust while entering any environment seems like a very smart idea.
You can always sweep or mop. You don't have to like
But that's
flush down your guests or yourself.
it's just inefficient to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Third guess.
Hmm. Third guess. Uh, okay. A new like an anniversary edition of a book that you already have like seven copies of. I know
Um,
you're a Kindle person, but I'm still
right.
going this route because I feel like this would be the kind of nerdy shit that
This
you would
would be the exception. I did recently buy Project Hail Mary just because I wanted to have the physical copy, even though I've read the Kindle version. So fine, you got me there. But and I suppose that is my answer. Sure, yeah, no, that is correct. I'll give that to you.
okay. Describe why did you buy it? Why did that appeal to you so much?
I think when you're working in space, it can get a little dreary with how um, insignificant you are and how fragile everything is. And
Mhm.
hopeful stories like Project Hail Mary uh, kind of serve as a point of inspiration for the world we want to build or the things we can achieve. It sometimes puts into perspective that yes, we are just a floating rock in infinite space, but we are the people on the floating rock who are able to traverse between two floating rocks, and that's cool. So that's what
Why
I.
did you have to have like a physical version of it?
Why did I have to have a physical? Why did I have to have a physical version? Um, okay, while I think of that answer field, why don't you just reset your health monitors? They seem to be bleeping a little bit.
Okay.
Your heart rate seems fine, but there's something going wrong with your. Is that your heart rate? Oh, no, your O2 levels seem a bit skewed. Just reset them for me.
Okay. They like sigh very like annoyed and like go to like mission control on my ship,
Mhm. There you
press
go.
buttons.
Best press buttons. I love it. I think the reason I had to get a physical copy is so that I could show it off to people that this is a book I like, and I want everyone else to know that it's a book they should read.
Okay, so it's for clout purposes.
Yeah, but I think anything you showcase is for cloud. So yeah.
Sure,
Hmm.
we'll go with that.
Sure. Let's do that.
Okay.
Mhm. Next
Um,
up.
you draw one.
Oh, I drew a blank card, so that's probably not meant to be there. A 10 of diamonds.
Hey, so you ask me, do you have any pets or house plants? And if you don't, do you want any? Oh
Field.
wait, sorry. I did the wrong one.
Okay.
Then for me is, have you had any near-death experiences in space?
Have I had a field? Considering the dangerous occupation that you've taken up for yourself, um, is are there any that are stood out as near death experiences, or maybe not even in the shop, just in general?
I do dehydrate myself a lot. I guess it's a bad thing to do. I've been told it's a bad thing to do.
It is a bad thing to do.
Mm.
Field.
And sometimes when I'm like out scouting on my own, I will take a nap and just
Field,
I'll
I'm gonna have to
wake up.
report this to command.
This is a confidential conversation. There has to be like a like a client. I don't know what
Field,
the
for
other
your
one would
own
be, like a
good
client
and
confidentiality thing.
the safety of you and the rest of the crew. I have to
Fine.
report.
It was a near death experience. It wasn't a death experience. I just took a nap and then I woke up to like people yelling at me over the radio that my oxygen was depleting. It's fine. I made it back in
We
time.
thought it was just because you went too far away from comms, but apparently it was just because you couldn't hear us. Um, Phil, I need you to promise that you're not going to do that again.
Listen, you shouldn't be making promises you can't keep.
Phil, I'm going to need you to promise that you're not going to do that again.
You shouldn't be making promises you can't keep. I will promise not to do it again if you promise not to like keep me on like watch at the lab overnight without me rest. I didn't sleep for like 3 days. Okay, I had to take a nap at some point.
I will talk to your scheduling. I'll talk to your captain about your scheduling patterns, Field. We can probably try for something a bit more lenient. Uh, but if you do find yourself sleepy, please check back into the bed.
Too far. That too far. Rock right there.
All right, Field, we're going to circle back to this conversation at a time where you're more pliable.
Okay. Okay, you pull the next card.
All right. Hold on. 4.
Four. So, control. You weren't there when my ship took off. Have you heard or like do you know about the control that was there? Have you heard of them?
We usually rotate trips, so yes, I do know about my counterparts, though I don't often get to meet them.
I haven't really been, well, I've been stuck with you. No offense.
None taken.
So, haven't really gotten to speak them at all. What were they like? How, like, Did they panic at all during the takeoff? Or was it like back in mission?
Uh, I've heard that the person in charge is generally known for being very calm and collected during any given situation, as long as there are no lizards around, which is why we have a extermination crew explore the environment on a regular basis, just to make sure that there are no lizards around.
I feel like this is like a personal attack against me, Apri.
I feel like a lot of people are scared of lizards, and I didn't know that you were scared of lizards. But sure, let's say that it is.
Yeah, like lizards are the one thing I can't stand, and I have like five of them in my room at any given point.
That's terrifying. Why do you have five of them in your room?
It's hard to like completely exterminate lizards. Okay, when we first moved, like a complete tangent. But when
Yes.
we first moved in, I had my parents like fumigate my room before I moved in.
Mhm.
Anyway,
And now you're going to a country for a known variety of very odd and interesting species. This is going to work out great for you. Carrying on,
absolutely.
Phil, tell me, what else do you want to know?
Uh, why lizards specifically?
I think it's the fact that they can lose their tails if they are attacked. It really freaks them out.
Okay, I did not know they could do that.
Yeah, they're very much capable of surviving by losing their tail if caught in a trap of any sort, which they can then regrow after they consume enough protein. It is
Okay,
dismemberment freaks them out.
I am glad that I am not on Earth. Nice, nice.
Mhm. To be fair, I'm also glad you're not on Earth.
Yeah,
That's payback for all the other digs you took at me.
that's fair. We all learn some way or the other.
Hmm? Are you
Okay.
still bored, Field? It's not like
Uh,
you're doing anything thrilling, I suppose. You are just monitoring plants growing in space, but
yeah, I'm not allowed to sleep right now, so it is what better to do than talk to like the idiot in my headset. Everybody else is asleep, can't talk to my crewmates.
hmm,
Crewmates are less insufferable.
they
It
have to be,
works.
otherwise they risk
Yeah,
land up getting killed by each other.
yeah. I'm just stuck with it.
I understand. Right. Another card?
Okay. Yep.
Queen.
Mhm. Hey, so you get to ask me, when was the last time you laughed and when was the last time you cried?
Hmm. Field, would you say you're an emotional person?
I feel like all emotion sort of takes a backseat when you're like, you have to be quote unquote scientific. You
Hmm.
can't afford to be emotional about things.
Understandable, Field. So you're very rational.
Uh, when it comes to work, sure.
So when was the last time you cried or laughed really hard for that matter?
Hmm. I don't think I've really laughed at anything. I don't think I've felt any pure joy to the level of like laughing. I do smile when like we get good results from the experiment.
Hmm.
In the same vein, I don't think I've experienced anything like the first few months were hard, but I don't think I've experienced anything to the level of crying. I did watch like a movie last uh yesterday, a couple of hours ago. Days are weird.
Mhm.
Did watch a movie while I was on duty.
Mhm.
This is confidential.
Okay.
My focus was not diverted. I was completely focused on my
You
work.
are given free hours to rest during, so
Yeah, but when I have 3 hours, I want to sleep. If I want to watch a movie, I'll do it while I'm on the clock.
okay.
That's just like basic.
I'm starting to realize there's some severe flaws in our rotation system for the field members out there. But we will get back to that. What was this movie, Field?
Um, hmm, it was a movie about a kid and a dog, and
Is this
the
Up?
dog. I was actually going with the. I think it's a Japanese dog. I
Oh,
mean, a Japanese movie or a
it's
Japanese dog. Hachiko,
uh,
I think it's one. No,
that's
is
the
that
one
what?
with the adult. Hachiko is there is a uh, Japanese dog who's famous named Hachiko, and there's an
Yeah, the
American
one with.
adaptation of the story with Richard Grant.
I
I'm
will
gonna guess.
pretend like I know who that is.
Yes.
I do believe I watched the Japanese version,
Okay.
and the movie didn't really make me cry. It just made me a little sad. But then I looked it up, and apparently they have like a statue of that dog.
Mhm. They do.
That made me cry.
Right. Yeah, the story of Hachiko is really heartwarming. That will get a lot of people to tear up. That's quite well within your emotional parameters for a field member. You're allowed to cry. In fact, it'd be more concerning if you didn't.
Okay, this is confidential.
As confidential as a publicly monitored communication system can be, yes.
This is the graveyard shift. No one's monitoring this. It's fine.
I agree. I'm just saying that it's also publicly accessible. So, going on.
Next card.
Five.
I even. So I've been gone for a while. Control. I think it's almost been a year. Time is weird out here. What's like? I'm sure like a bunch of things have changed back home. Bunch of advancements, bunch of unadvancements, whatever the opposite of advancement is.
Are you struggling to remember words, Field? That might be a concerning sign of psychological degradation.
Haven't slept in a while. It's okay. We'll get over it.
Right.
Words aren't important. Fine. All we need are numbers. Uh, yeah. It's been a while since I've been gone. What's like your favorite thing that has happened while I've been gone?
Um, hmm. Favorite thing that has happened since you've been gone? That's an interesting question. Well, Field, if I'm being honest, things aren't all that great down here, and they haven't been for a while. But I've often found that in a lot of these tragic circumstances, humanity continues to strive to unify and work together on a lot of solutions. Not always, but more often than not. Um, and I try to focus on that, and that's probably the favorite thing that's happened because I'm not sure there have been any breakthroughs that I'm like, wow, that was unexpected. Because a lot of this has been in the works for a while. But I mean, you were there for the pandemic, right?
I left in the middle of it. Yes.
Yeah, so I think coming up with the vaccine was like pretty down impressive. I mean,
Do
that's
they
like,
still have bubble tea?
well, we have. Why do you think we tried to eradicate bubble tea? What was the anti-fun police kind of making a wave or something?
I don't know. It's like bubble tea could have like I don't know, like stopped wars.
Okay, Field. I'm concerned, but no,
I
we still
had
have bubble tea.
I haven't had bubble tea in like a year, and I probably won't have it ever again.
Why would you never have it again?
We don't know how long this is gonna last. That was part of my contract.
You will probably get bubble tea before you're you know you die.
Where am I going to find the resources to make it here?
We can send some up as a Christmas treat. You're there for
Yeah,
Christmas.
super viable. I'm
It's
sure your superiors will sign off on that.
one cup of bubble tea, which is frozen, is actually far more viable than I don't know if you wanted tiramisu. We tried that; it tasted terrible afterwards.
I have never had tiramisu. What is that?
Um, it's. I mean, do you want me to tell you what the recipe is? It's like a kind of not like a cake, but it's a dessert.
Okay, sweet things.
Yes, it's a sweet thing. There you go.
I
Oh,
haven't had sugar in a while. Probably for the best.
did you run out of sugar up there?
Yeah. So the captain likes a lot of sugar in their coffee,
We
and
we we have about 5 kilograms of glucose stored up there.
well, that only lasted like a month. So I don't know what to tell.
Maybe tell us, hey, control, we need more sugar. Send it up.
Oh, we didn't think it was that important, but like it's fine. The captains resorted to putting salt in their coffee. We're doing okay.
This explains a lot about the psyche valve that we just had. All
The
right.
taste grows on you. It works fine.
This is worrying, but okay. Next card,
Yep.
6.
Thanks. Okay, this is nice. What is your favorite planet or moon that you visited?
My favorite planet or moon that I've visited.
Not yours. You
Oh,
asked me this.
yours. Okay. Field, we've been floating around space for a while. I'm curious, any other planetary bodies that you prefer over the station?
Hmm.
Considering that most of them are very inhospitable.
Uh, there was this one moon we went to.
Mhm.
Um, it didn't have anything, but it did have something sort of similar to grass.
Sure.
It was nice to sort of be able to lay back on essentially a private lawn and look up at, well, nothing. But it was still nice to just lay on grass, touch grass.
You obviously had your suit on while you did,
Obviously, I
because otherwise you would risk carrying parasites from an alien moon onto the ship, and that would be incredibly dangerous, and that would also be against regulation. So,
okay. I just between you and me, I did take off my gloves for a second to touch the grass, but it was fine. We ran tests. I'm fine.
okay. You know what how we spoke about screaming?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm getting there.
See, you can scream and like hear it back, so that lets out the frustration.
Uh huh. Just hear the furious typing from this guy. All right, next card.
Yeah.
Oh, another 6.
Hey. Oh, we will revert back to me asking you.
Okay.
Um, how do you like your coffee? I'm sure like graveyard shifts take a lot of coffee.
Oh no, I definitely like my coffee. I don't like it with salt. I'll tell you that.
It's an acquired taste.
Uh,
Like it's what you call gourmet.
no, no. I like my coffee black actually. I carry my own AeroPress and ground coffee because I don't like sharing, and so I boil the water over here, ground the coffee, and then make myself a cup of AeroPress coffee.
Did you not get free coffee at work?
I do. It's just terrible, so I prefer to bring my own.
But it's free coffee though.
It's bad free coffee.
It's free coffee.
It's bad free coffee. Field.
I guess you have to be in a position where you the only thing you can get is salt coffee. Understand?
It's
how
not like you're
important.
paying for the coffee. If you could, you would totally make coffee of your own with sugar, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Lots of cream. Have you ever had cream in your coffee? Coffee?
Um, I am lactose intolerant, so I do believe that if I have cream in my coffee, the I would have to be put into quarantine for a few days.
That is how lactose intolerance works, yes.
That's how my captain rules it. So
I see.
you're not allowed to argue with them.
No, actually, I'm not. That's actually quite true. Uh,
Do you
all
like
right.
tea?
Do I like tea? Uh, tea is okay. Tea is the second best choice I have.
What kind of tea do you like?
If I'm working Earl Grey, if I'm going to bed, rooibos. If I just want to relax, rose or chamomile.
Chamomile is nice because that's the only one where if you forget to take the tea bag out, it doesn't get bitter. The tea still tastes nice.
Yeah, I know where you're coming from. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Green tea sucks in that regard. It gets too bitter.
Oh yeah, green tea is a tricky endeavor. So is any black tea as well. To be honest.
I have never had black tea with tea bags. I didn't know they made tea bags for black tea.
Well, I mean, it's any tea without milk, really. So Earl Grey without milk is just black tea. So it's like I don't know, like Assamese chai. I don't know. Have you ever had a chai latte, Field, or a chai tea latte?
I am lactose intolerant. I cannot have any sort of lattes.
The
All my
soy.
tea is black.
We invented soy. Did you just miss that part?
Oh, I hate the taste of soy. I hate the taste of soy. I hate the taste of almond. I hate the taste of oat.
Oat milk technically doesn't taste like anything.
It just it's listen, it's just watered down milk. Okay. If I really wanted to have milk, I would
Mhm.
take the pain it came with.
Spoken like someone truly stuck in space, um, who would willingly subject themselves to that. All right, Field. How are we feeling?
We're feeling pretty good. Uh,
And you're still awake?
I think so. I think I have like about 15 minutes left on this fucking experiment.
That is correct.
I am allowed to go to bed after this, right?
You are.
Okay, good.
It's an ace.
Ooh, ace. Okay. Okay, this is interesting. You get to ask me, why would you agree to a mission where you might not ever return home?
Field, you said that you're worried that you might never have bubble tea. Um, I'm just curious, if you're worried about things like that, why agree to this mission?
This is a very this is confidential. I did not read our contract until we were like 2 months into this.
And it
I
never came
thought
up
we were
with the rest of the
I
team?
just when we ran out of sugar, I thought we were gonna like go back in a while and like get more supplies, but apparently that's not happening anytime soon.
Hmm.
There was like a lot of text, okay? Like the contract itself was like an entire file and it was like more than 50 pages of
You
like
are in
mini font.
You are an engineer and an astronaut
I
with,
work
I
with
think, a
numbers.
PhD in mathematics and a
I work with
secondary master's.
numbers.
A
This
contract
is
seems far easier to process than the raw math you would have to do if the computers failed and you had to navigate a moonshot by yourself.
you know how like there's a saying that whenever you try to do something like it's not rocket science.
Uh-huh.
Rocket science is easier for me than like reading 50 pages of like legal and like contract stuff.
You could have hired a lawyer. You're filthy rich back here on Earth.
I no, I listen. My lawyer was on vacation. He was having like a baby. and he was on vacation, and I didn't want to bother with like a different lawyer.
Uh-huh.
I
So
just,
you
I just
signed
read it
your life
myself.
away.
Apparently, I did. Yes. I honestly like. I don't. I don't really regret it as much. The only thing I do miss is like
Bubble tea?
stuff like bubble tea. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
essentially.
I got that.
I miss the little boba pearls at the bottom of tea. Those were nice.
Uh-huh. Well,
You should definitely try and speak to your supervisor about like, sending up some bubble tea. I've changed my mind.
um, well, yes, I will do that. Uh, I will get on right on that. Right after I skip over mentioning that you didn't read your contract and have been sleeping out during, I will let them know that you need bubble tea.
Confidential.
Jack.
Okay. Uh, okay. We've done Jack for yours, so we come back to Jack for mine.
Hmm?
So you ask me again. How do you deal with the loneliness, and how do you deal with the silence and the darkness? And
Hmm. Tell me something. When you go out on your spacewalk, it's pretty dark, pretty quiet. Like you said, you can't hear yourself scream because there's no air to travel or sound to travel through. Um, how do you deal with that?
uh, the darkness is a bit jarring in the beginning. I guess it's it's kind of jarring that like it can be like completely dark 1 second and you turn around and there's like a big ass star. I think it's made more bearable by like listen to a lot of music, like really loud music.
What do you listen to?
uh, I listen to a lot of old top 50 lists. Like I don't know what's new in pop nowadays, but I listen to a lot of old pop songs, which
What's
could
what's
be
the pop song that you listen to? Name one.
uh, pop song. This is Apri. I don't know any old pop songs.
I mean, technically, they can be old from 2023. We don't know what year you're in.
True. You
Do
know
you know
what?
any pop songs
I
from
will go
today?
this super basic route, and I will say like not basic. Like I don't like the Beatles, but I will say I listen to the Beatles a lot.
Feel that concerns me that you think feel Beatles is pop, but okay.
I don't know. Aren't Beatles pop? I thought One Direction was pop. I
One
thought One
Direction
Direction
is
was.
pop.
Isn't One Direction like inspired by the Beatles? I imagine Beatles is pop. What else are Beatles?
Beatles would be more like rock and roll, or like yeah.
Okay, that is like actual news to me.
You know what feels as someone who doesn't listen to either of these, I'm going to do a Google for you. I don't know if you know what Google is, or if you've forgotten. They're an English rock band.
Okay,
Mhm.
okay, interesting.
Uh-huh. So they
I
did
know what
play some
Google
of.
is. I thought you were like legally obligated to use Bing.
I'm legally obligated to use Bing for work.
You are at work.
I'm at work, but I'm not doing work. I'm talking to you.
Okay. I listen to a lot of Beatles, like, really loud. I think it's begun to affect my hearing.
Do you have a
Given
Do you
how
have a
loud
favorite
I have it.
song? Is it? I can give you a few name suggestions if you'd like.
I'll make one up. What songs would what type of song titles would the Beatles have? Uh, I really like their big hit song.
I'm waiting,
There's a
Fields.
there's a ladybug in my attic.
Okay, the Ladybug in the Attic classic. Yeah, that one was a real hit in the 70s, I suppose. right after Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds and before Yellow Submarine. Are you a big fan of the album Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band?
I
No? But
understood none of the words you just said to
what
me,
about the
and
White Album?
I don't know if it's because like you're a nerd, or I don't know if it's because I don't have enough sleep on me right now. But I don't know what you're saying to me.
Are my words not getting through, Field? Might need to run a diagnostic for that. Can you confirm? One, two, three. What did I just say?
One, two, three. What did I just say?
Okay, you can still hear what I'm saying. All right. What's two plus two, Field? It's maths,
Uh,
Field. What's two plus two?
uh, four.
Field. Four. Okay. That's concerning. Field, name five things that you can see around you, please.
Hmm. There's a big red button that says self-destruct. Um, there's two big monitors, one of one with like experiment data and one with like our life vitals. Um, there's a big window that looks out into essentially nothing. There's a little bit of the grass that I picked up, which probably shouldn't have.
What color is the
We
grass?
look, it's like it's like a slightly purple, like a mixture between purple and blue.
Okay. That is the color of the grass on the moon. That you're noticing colors correctly.
We tried to we tried to cultivate the grass on the ship, but it didn't really work.
Now, that would be because the grass requires a certain wavelength of UV light, and your screens are filtered to cut that out. So,
I probably should have known that.
probably.
Hmm.
All right, Field, it seems like you're still aware of your surroundings. Maybe just need a little bit of sleep. How many more minutes before to bed, Field?
7 minutes.
Okay. We'll ask one more question, Field. 10.
Ooh, okay. Control. Do you? I used to have like a little turtle back home. Do you have any pets?
Um, I have a pet rock.
The turtle was kind of like a rock. That's you know what? That's fair. That's understandable. What's
Hmm?
it called?
What is the rock called? I didn't name my rock. I was worried I would lose it.
But then, if you do lose the rock, you need like a name to call out to it. Otherwise, how is
I
it
just
gonna
say
like come
rock.
back? But then, what if you like mess it up with someone else's pet rock?
I hope my pet rock will recognize me or someone else's. Someone else.
How will you recognize your pet rock?
I can always recognize my pet rock.
What does it look
It is round, smooth, and is the color emerald green with pink gems studded in it.
like? Did it come with the gems, or did you like
Oh, it's
decorate
one
it?
of the rocks from the Jovian moon. So yeah, it came with the.
Ah, how how did you get your hands on that?
Hmm, that's confidential, Field.
I have told you a lot of things that would cost me my job right now.
That you have.
I demand to know how you got.
Fortunately, you're in no position to make demands, Field.
Uh, experiment is almost done, and I am extra annoyed with you right now.
That's
And
understandable, Field. That's what my wife says as well.
I did not know you were married.
I was.
Okay, long time ago. Too soon.
It's fine. Time is relative.
It is. I learned that in like grade school.
I'm glad you learned and remembered that, if nothing else.
Numbers are good. Like big numbers. I can't not very good at like addition and stuff, but like
Mhm,
the algebra and things,
mhm.
pretty good at those.
I'm curious, what's your favorite formula? like a formula for calculating something. Any one that you prefer over others. Like that's just really neat, right? Like when I first came across Pythagoras, it was just so simple. But you're like,
Mhm.
damn, that's neat. Was there
Mhm.
some solution that you were like, damn, that's neat?
I like the thing where you can like solve like,
Are
I
you trying
forgot.
to say differentiation
No, no,
fields?
no, no, no. I was trying to find like I don't remember if it's for like partial differential equations or if it's for like ordinary differential equations. But there's one thing where like if you have a differential equation, you know that if you put it in a certain form, it will always revert to one set type of solution. Where you can like put in like the P and the Q and you can like get the solution from there. That's pretty neat. That's like the only differential equation thing I like. Integration is like very hard to do. I'm glad I don't have
Integration
to do it.
is hard to do. Like I got differentiation and then I just stopped. Now I just let the computers do it for me. Uh,
That's why you're there and I'm here.
sure, that's why, not because one of us read the contract and the other didn't.
Mm-hmm.
All right, one
Potato,
more
potato.
question. Field,
Okay.
one more question. Was free.
Okay. You get to ask me. I think we've already answered this, but like, you get to ask me what small insignificant thing do you miss most about Earth?
Hmm. Let's draw another one. Four.
Um, what do you think will make you finally hit the red abort button on Earth?
Field, in the off chance that things get harder, is there a point that you decided be when you press the red self-destruct button that you mentioned a few moments ago?
I think I've come to terms with my situation.
Mhm.
I honestly think that if I were to press it, it would be an accident.
That's good to know.
I just like stumble around. I hope I don't sleepwalk anymore. I feel like I'll just stumble around and like accidentally hit it in my sleep,
Mhm.
flip
Uh,
and like trip and fall on the switch.
you know that there's a shield that usually sits atop um, the button so that you don't press it by mistake, right?
Oh, it broke a couple of weeks ago. I uh I dropped like a crate on the mission control panel. The shield broke. The button's like fully exposed.
All right. Thank you for letting me know and not forgetting to mention that field. We will get to getting that fixed up as soon as we can. We'll add it to your job list, basically.
Why do I have to do it?
Well, someone in the crew does, and you're the engineer.
I'm more of like the computer engineer. I don't know how
You're
to do.
traveling with a botanist uh, and a hmm, and a medical professional. You are the only person mildly capable of fixing this, so we're gonna have to trust you.
Fine, I'll whip
You can do it
something.
when you're awake.
I am awake right now. Not for long.
Mhm. Yeah, I think you should sleep, Field. It's about time. You're going to be relieved soon.
Okay. And if we end the game, please end with you saying that your shift is
Ah, my shift is over.
over.
Uh, there you go, Field. My partner's coming here to relieve me. They'll be taking over. You can talk to them if need be, but you should definitely get some rest. And don't worry, the stuff we talked about, I will keep it as confidential, like I said, as possible on a public communication system.
So you can delete the logs if you want to.
I cannot do that, Field. I do not have access.
Oh, that's stupid.
No, it's quite secure. All right, Field. I'm going to have to go. My shift is over.
Okay, I'll go as well. Not as fun annoying your partner as it is annoying you.
That is almost heartwarming, Field.
Almost. We'll get there.
Almost. Look at that. All right. Nice. I really got into the zone of playing Control. For me, that was just like Yeah, totally. I know what this is like, even though I've never. But I would say that's a very cool job to have. So I'd be down for it.
Yeah.
Someone could just help me skip over all the engineering. Tell me, how did this idea come about?
I wanted to like do something for like the Duet bundle, and like I was like brainstorming what kind of games I could make for it. I had a couple of ideas, but most of them were like very like mechanic intensive, and I would have to think about them a lot.
Mhm.
And then like I've always liked the idea of like essentially digging into someone who has a quote unquote boring job in like compared to like for example in space you always think of like the astronaut. You don't like
Mm.
really think of the person back at home controlling all the like
Mhm.
little things. You don't think of mission control as much.
Sure.
I kind of wanted to like dig into that, like have like play as that person.
Uh huh. Nice. Very cool. All right. Thank you for joining us, Field.
Thank you for
Uh,
having me.
this was fun, ladies and gentlemen. This was Blase Monotony by Apri. Thank you for joining us. We are going to be back in a little while with For the Other City by Thomas, who you might know as Chai by Post. So stay tuned and we'll be back. And also, that's when we will announce the winner for the bundle. So there's a little giveaway. We're giving away one copy of the bundle. So make sure to stick around for that. Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome back. This is Daisies and Dragons, and we are now going to be playing For the Other City by Thomas, who is joining me for the stream. Thomas, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'd love to. Hi, I'm Thomas. He him pronouns. I'm a game designer from Chennai, India, and I write the Indie RPG newsletter, which is a kind of like weekly newsletter that tries to collect all the best about the indie RPG scene that week. I am also the host of a podcast that just this is a recent thing. I host the Yes Indeed podcast, which was previously run by Mark Shepard. It's very cool. You should check it out. Uh, and you can find the newsletter at ttrpg.substack.com and the podcast at yesindeed.buzzsprout.com.
Nice. Very excited to check the latter out. I've already checked out your blog and I follow it, so I'm excited to be having you on this particular game. Let's dig into this. So tell me a little bit. How do we start playing For the Other City?
Yeah, so For the Other City is based on a game called For the Queen by Alex Roberts. And it essentially is a game where all the rules are written on cards. So if we were sitting around a table, we'd have a deck of cards, and the first 10 cards would be rules, and after that there'd be prompts, and we would just answer those prompts and together kind of tell the story. For the Other City specifically is a game that doesn't need any introduction. The rules themselves are the introduction. So why don't I just hit next and walk you through
Perfect.
card building? Yeah, sounds good.
Sounds good. There we go. Does it also do next for me if I click it?
Yeah, so we're looking at the same thing. So this game,
Okay.
it plays off story synth, which is it's a room. We're both seeing the same thing, and this game was partially kind of funded by a story synth Big Bad Con micro grant.
Nice.
The first card is the premise. There are two cities in the same place, but in different dimensions. One is one greater, one lesser. Now, two people have been killed in a similarly mysterious way, one in each city. And the two cities have to work together to solve the case. So what this looks like is the idea is that there is a city and there is another city that occupies the same physical space in some way, but in another dimension. And you could maybe that boundary is porous. You could cross from one city to another in some strange way. And there has been a murder, and rather two people have been killed, one in each city, and the cities have decided to send people to kind of solve that case. The two cities send one detective each. These detectives have never met, but now they are partners, and they have to track down the killer together. This is a card that kind of recommends safety tools. Me and Shubham have already discussed lines and veils, so we're all good on this. This is a reminder that the X card is always in play, which is just something that at any point in time you can skip a card if you don't want to answer it, but also like if somebody else gives an answer that you're not comfortable with, just say X card or tap the X card with physical play, and we could cut that content out. Okay, so the first thing we do in this game is kind of decide something about these two cities. We do that by choosing two details. A chosen detail for one city suggests the opposite for another. And the example I gave is if the first city is crumbling, then the second city is assumed to be maybe recently built. And there's a space kind of below this card where we would write those options. Cool. So we choose two details for each city. Shubham, why don't you go ahead and pick one of these options for the first city? Which one jumps out at you?
In terms of like whether I think it's crumbling or like that,
So there's about 12 options here, and you just pick one that jumps out, knowing that it suggests the opposite for the other one.
Okay, I am a big fan of. These are really good ones though. There's so many evocative words here. I'm gonna go with, because I've been messing around with cyberpunk, I'm gonna go with high tech.
Okay, cool. So what do you think the opposite of high tech is? Is it low tech in the sense of like modern day, like something more like our world where there might be phones or computers, or does it mean is the opposite of high tech something like people use magic instead of technology or something like that? What's an opposite?
Great question, isn't it? Like I almost feel like because it starts making you think about what does technology imply.
Yeah.
I think technology is often about this sense of hyperconnectivity and almost a sense of being isolated while being constantly crowded.
Okay.
So something that kind of allows for a lot of space, a lot of being lost in. Like even one person you find would be a sense of like comfort.
Nice.
So I'm thinking isolated is the word I'm gonna go.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but I say in the sense of like people are disconnected from each
Yeah,
other, right? Like,
yeah,
oh, that's
exactly.
very cool. I like that a lot. Okay, so you've chosen high tech for the first city. I'll choose the second adjective for that city.
Right.
So let's say it's high tech and corrupt. Okay.
Ooh, all right.
And I think what I'm trying to do there is okay, it's high tech and playing with the idea that, oh, in a super connected world, there's going to be a lot of opportunity for crime. And I don't know, the question of like how do you govern, how do you apply laws and things like that,
Mhm.
like that thing. But also that this other disconnected city, like maybe they disconnected because like it helps them like be better. Like maybe
Mhm.
that's a kind of conscious decision, right?
Mhm.
um yeah, that's so yeah, so we have a high tech corrupt city. what's
Mhm.
what's the what's the adjective for the second city from here that you'd like to pick?
For the second city, high tech corrupt. So the second city, if you're gonna, should I pick for the opposite of that?
Oh no, this is the new adjective, so we
Okay.
are, yeah.
Okay. I will say that it is a high tech corrupt city that is crumbling.
Oh no, in the sense this is for the second city. So our first city is
Okay.
high tech and
Okay.
corrupt.
Got it.
Our
Got it.
second city is dash and dash.
Okay. I'll say the second city is crumbling. I still like the idea of crumbling because there's
Yeah, I
something.
yeah, I like that as well. I like that as well. Especially if they're disconnected, that maybe is like I'm imagining now like towers that are falling over, but like
Yeah.
people still living in them, like each
Yep.
one in their own tower. They don't,
Yep.
like this decay all around.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm and I think I'll go with something similar now. I think I'll go with Gothic
Mhm.
because I think that's, even when I was saying tower, I think that's what I'm thinking. And by Gothic
Yeah.
again, I'm talking about purely vibes here. There
Right.
are gargoyles. There's
Mhm.
uh, it's all this stonework, all
Mhm.
this thing that suggests
Yeah.
a time of great success, but in the
Followed by,
past.
yeah, like they've all forgotten. It's kind of what I love about often learning about the Roman Empire is that there was a period where they had concrete roads, and then
Yeah,
we've lost the information on how they made concrete, and it just fell apart for a while, right? So I like that crumbling. Very cool.
nice. Okay. Uh, so this is a good point. Now that we know one city is high tech and corrupt, and the other is crumbling and gothic, we can come up with a name for it. So why don't you name our high tech corrupt city?
Mhm. High tech corrupt city. Oh man, naming is a challenge. I'm terrible at.
Uh,
I panic. I can come up with a whole new world, but if you tell me to name it, I'll
Okay,
think.
okay. Here's what I think would be cool. If
Okay.
we apply the word neo to some like real city, like
Yep, that always solves the problem, doesn't it? I like the idea of stupidly named cities. Like people didn't really think it through, but they were like, "That sounds cool. That sounds cool. Yeah, let's go with that." So let's go with Neo, but Neo new, uh, and then
like
we'll get, yeah, and let's go with Neo new. Mm, what's a Neo new Eden? There we go.
okay, nice. I like this a lot. New Eden, high tech and corrupt. Um, okay, are you seeing that? Are you? Yeah, has it updated for you under
I think
name?
we might have an issue with that. Let me try something. I'm going to send you a link, see if it works for you, because I think the one I'm showing to the audience is slightly different. So if it works for you, then
Okay. Let me open that up. Give me a second.
yeah, no worries. In the meantime, I could probably add Neo New Eden.
Yeah, under the city, under
Yeah,
that name, you can just write that down.
there we
Um,
go. Oh,
yeah,
does
just
it
give
work?
me a second.
Awesome. What do you want to name the other city?
Okay, yeah. It's Gothic and crumbling. Man, I'm tempted to go with something that's called old something. Okay. I don't know if it's this. It looks like it's the same link that I am on, except maybe.
I think what I might have created for us is a small problem with by the way I named this thing.
Let me.
Do this. If you have the hyperlink link open, just add a space Daisies / see if that solves it for you. If not, I can always create a new instance.
Okay. Yeah, let me see. Okay. Is there a space between Duet and Daisies for you?
Yeah.
It is? Okay, I think that's the thing that's messing up for me. That's breaking the.
Did I just create a new instance without the space? I can do that.
Actually. Let me see if
Hold on. I got you.
Yeah, no, I'm on it now. Yeah,
Oh.
Sounds good. Oh no.
No, it's fine.
Sorry, which one are you at?
I'm there with you. Don't worry, I'm there with you.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, cool.
Amazing.
Cool. So I will name this New Eden, high tech and corrupt, and you should see that now.
Yes, I do.
And then the other one, I think I will call this. I think I will call this Groan. I think that's what the old city is called. It's just called the Groan. It's Gothic and crumbling. Yeah. Nice. Okay. And we need names for our detectives. I hope you thought about.
I know. I'm gonna name my detective. I'm gonna go with a cheesy ass fuck name. I love doing this.
Okay.
My characters. I'm gonna go with Jugnesh as my detective name.
Okay. Jugnesh.
Yeah, that works. JIG, I would say. Yeah.
Oh, Jignesh. Okay, cool. Nice. Does Jignesh have a detective in front of that? Like they have
Detective Jignesh? Yeah, that works for me. Yeah, that works.
Cool. All right. And then my detective, I think. I think it'd be cool if like they didn't have like normal names.
Yeah.
Okay. No. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think he just has a number. I think so. I think he is Officer 23. Yeah. So.
Officer 23. I love it. I love that the New Eden had Detective Jignesh, and then the other city, the Groan, had Officer 23.
Yeah, and I think what that is like in the Groan.
Yeah.
They're trying to be so disconnected that they don't learn each other's name. I think that's what this is.
Perfect.
Cool.
Meanwhile, Detective Jignesh has every one of his social media handles.
Yeah, detective is a part of it, like first name detective, last name Jignesh.
Yep.
Nice. Yeah. I love that. Okay. So playing this game, on your turn, you draw a card. Every card has a prompt and a clue. The player can either choose to answer the prompt, which will be in the form of a question, or narrate how the detectives discover the clue. So the idea is like every card is two options. We can either just narrate our answer to a prompt, or we can describe a short scene where, if it's your turn, Detective Jignesh finds a clue. If it's my turn, Officer 23 finds a clue. Okay.
Okay. Do I draw a card? Do you draw a card?
I think I let the first prompt is actually something we both answer.
Okay.
Okay. So the next thing is there is a space for clues here. As we find clues, we'll write them down. And feel free to ask people ask me follow-up questions, and I will ask you follow-up questions based on your answer. Yeah. So the one thing in this will happen very fast because it's just two of us playing. But a round is 2 cards now. Like I answer a prompt, you answer a prompt, that's a round. After each round, the game asks us to secretly record our current theory for how the murder happened. And by that, it just means like you can write this down, or you can just think in your head, okay, like this is my detective's current theory. And the idea about that is that it kind of influences your answers for the next prompt, right? Because you're building the theory in your head as well. When coming up with theories for the murder, think about who, why, and how. Who did it? Why did they do it? How did they do it? And of course, sometimes it's not so simple. Sometimes it's not people. It's systems that kill. Yeah.
Nice. Very cool.
Yeah. And once enough prompts have been answered, or players feel like they've solved the case, or you've run out of time to play, end the game by clicking last card in the menu. So, at any point we can say like, oh, I think we've done enough, and we can just. Okay, so this is the starting prompt that we discussed together, and I will, I'm interested in your take on this. Why is it so clear that the two bodies in the two cities are linked?
I mean, the obvious answer really feels like it's because they seem to have things that belong to other cities.
That's nice, yeah.
Yeah, like I just like the idea that in this gothic and crumbling city, you have someone wearing neon shirts. You're like, what? And like someone in the groan carrying a quill just seems so out of place. Why would you carry a quill? It's so archaic.
Okay, yeah, I like that. So these are actual citizens. The citizens are from the right place, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not that a citizen from the Groan is in Neo New Eden. It's someone from Neo New Eden has got parchment and a quill, and someone from the Groan is wearing this neon leather jacket. Like, I like that a lot. I think that's very cool. Okay, so with that, this is our first card. You can take crack at it, and we'll take turns. So you can either. So our two detectives are now kind of solving the case together, right? And you can answer this prompt however you want, or you can describe a scene where they find a clue, and that clue is leftovers.
I can try answer this question. I think what I eat is actually, as a detective in Neo New Eden, I eat every morning while on duty, which is a slice of toast with very dry Nutella, which isn't really Nutella. It's just what everyone has now come to call Nutella. And I have it every morning with a cup of very black coffee. Again, it's an approximation of what black coffee would taste like. It might just be flavored water. And every time I eat it, however, it brings back a distinct memory of my childhood when I got lost. And so the only meal that I could find before, like the first meal I found after being lost in the city and not having anywhere to go, was Nutella on dry toast, and it just always brings back that memory whenever I have.
Nice. I think it'd be cool if like you are having like Detective Jignesh is having this meal like with Officer 23, and Officer 23 is watching you have this kind of deep reaction to what is ostensibly a really bad meal, right? Like looking at it and going like, like in the future Nutella sucks. Like, is that? Nice. I like that. I like that a lot. Okay, so for me, the trail leads you to a place that doesn't exist anymore. What stands there now? Okay. That doesn't exist anymore. Cool. So this suggests that both of us are maybe starting out at investigating the crime scene, right? Let's say since the previous scene was in New Eden, like this is we're at that body. This is someone's house and some kind of gargantuan housing colony. Everyone lives in tiny boxes or whatever, but always connected through the net. And we start there and we find this quill and paper, and I think maybe the quill and paper is a message on it, right? Like maybe there is like a come meet me here at this address. We track down the address and it says I think maybe the address is a church or something. Like it's some kind of like building that maybe feels like it shouldn't, like something about something. Maybe it's like it seems like an old building which is out of place. And we go there now and it's like a club. Like that building has demolished and now there is a club happening and we're standing outside and all this kind of music is fit. Why did they say meet at the church when the church doesn't exist anymore?
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe it's too early to have theories, but we should be thinking in our heads, okay, what's going on, kind of thing.
I ask you, Officer 23, do you think that they were referring to a place in your city and not mine?
That is possible. I think that would be very cool if that was true. It suggests then somehow that this person had a way of moving. I mean, clearly they did if objects have moved, but like maybe movement is policed, right? Maybe Officer 23 is something like
it's the exception.
Oh, yeah. What if it's like, okay, illegal border crossing? That's what's happening here then. Okay, yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Cool.
Let the future cast decide if that church exists in the ground.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, maybe this is in the ground. So the question for you is, what act of hospitality you find doesn't exist here at all, or the clue is a lie?
Interesting. A lie. So tell me, when it says the clue is a lie, is it that it's a lie that it doesn't exist, or that it's the act of hospitality itself is a lie?
Oh, so these things aren't connected, so it's a choice. So you can either be like, oh, we find a clue and it's a lie, and however you want to interpret that, you can, or you answer this question. Like they don't have to be connected.
Here's the thing: you're playing with someone who really loves building worlds, so I will most likely always answer the question about the world.
Take the biggest swings you want.
I think that the act of hospitality that doesn't exist in the grown but does exist in our New Eden is the simple thing of asking, hi, how are you, every time you meet someone, but never meaning it.
What do they ask in the ground? Like, what is the first question?
They just get on with the task. They just go like, this is what I need. Okay, sure. And that's
nice.
it.
I love that. Like Detective Jignesh keeps walking into rooms and people are like, here's the thing. And he's like, hi, I'm Detective Jignesh.
I'm here to ask some questions. How's everyone doing? What's today's weather like? And they're like, no. Why are you asking us this?
That is really good. I feel like the grown is living up to its name a little bit. A show ends in violence. How did you see this coming? I think we're cutting back to the club at this point. No, or maybe there is something happening in that church. Yeah. So I think we go to the grown. There is the church. Like we we go to it, and there is some kind of show going on. Maybe it's just like a choir singing. Maybe this is that kind of that classic of Gothic programming, which is there's an organ and it is playing like extremely somber music, and there is someone kind of singing alongside of it. And I think we're here, and as we're here, there is like a shot rings out, and the person who's playing the organ kind of like keels over and falls. And I think I saw this coming because the lyrics of the song were different from the person who was singing it. I think the lyrics were supposed to be something, and then but the previous line just before the shot comes out, like a normal word was just kind of replaced with the word die or something like that. Like I think it's as bad as that.
I love it. And you're like, wait, what? And yeah. What sound did I imagine that because there's an organ playing, there were some other instruments playing. Was it that as this happened, the drums made the sound, maybe, who knows?
Yeah.
Okay, next one. Religious event captures the city's imagination. Why does it annoy you? Or alternatively, clue, an obituary. Oh, I have an idea because of this. Okay, I'm gonna go with the clue. But I think considering that we just witnessed person die, two people technically are dead now, right?
3 people, one in each city, and now this organ player.
Three people.
Yeah.
What's weird is, and the organ player was in the Groan or in New Eden?
Was in a church in the Groan.
Okay, so what's weird is that I go looking, and maybe you're coming along to go through the archives to see basically if there have been any movements of weird materials from either city that have been recorded, right? And while I'm looking this up, I find an obituary of the organ player, and it's actually from like a while ago. So, so it's like a week before anything has happened, and that's
that is so good. That is so good. Oh yes, who was the organ player that died? Fantastic. Yeah. Okay, nice. That is great. I love that. Who do you stare at when you really shouldn't? Okay.
Oh man, I hate to do this too, but go on. You answer this question. I just have an idea, but go on.
No, please. Like, if you have something that you're excited to share, I'd love to hear it.
I feel like Detective Jignesh, being the Detective Jignesh he is, he stares at every person that goes past, but he's attracted to everybody, and I think he's got a leering stare for everybody, and he really shouldn't. So he's just staring at. But that's what I think Detective Jignesh is. This is not my question, though. Yours.
No, but I like that. There's Detective Jignesh because I think you can always like pass cards to another player if you think their character would have like a cool answer to this. So like my question to you is like, is there one particular person who responds, who reacts to this while everybody else kind of ignores it?
I think that the receptionist who works at the police station always rolls his eyes at me, and I just still continue to do it. And it's really not acceptable, but that's just how Detective Jignesh is.
Oh man, okay. Detective Jignesh needs to learn a lesson. Yeah,
very much so.
Okay, cool. So shall I take this one, or do you want to take this one?
No, go for it.
Okay. The trail leads you to a place that you shouldn't go. Where is that? Okay, I think this had to happen. I just feel like this is exactly where these stories always lead to. The organ player who died. No, I think how where does that trail go? Like I think that's the thing. That's confusing. No, let's I think we tracked down the singer, because that singer like changed the words, right? Like I think that's like a big thing that we are finding. Like, who was this person who knew this was going to happen? And we tried to track down that person. And I think someone says they saw them get into what is a police vehicle, right? Like in the Groan, and like escaped from the church and that. So I think we have to go to the government, right? To the cops. And Officer 23 is not keen on investigating the higher ups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Detective Jigdish joins him and is like, maybe we should just drop the case. Maybe it was just coincidentally something that happened, because I do not want to go down this trail. And then maybe after a while we both like, but we have to.
I mean, I like the idea that Detective Jignesh is asking this question because like he's probably corrupt, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the one thing we know about New Eden.
Yeah.
So maybe someone does kind of like offer us like some, like maybe someone threatens us, maybe someone and Jignesh wants to stop. And I think Officer 23 is like, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? You know, are they going to kill us? Like, fine. You know, I think he has a fatalistic streak. Cool. Here's your clue. You see a vision of something to come. What makes you suspect it? Or clue an address.
Well, I feel like an address is already on the books because the organ donor has a house we should go check out. Or not the organ donor, the organist who died has a house, which is oddly enough, the address listed is in New Eden. So.
Oh wow! So they are from the other city.
Or for some reason, there's a record of them living in the other city. It doesn't matter. We don't know if they're from the other city, but it's weird that there's records of them in both places.
Oh, okay. So the person who was so the way I'm seeing this is like we have this person who is clearly pretending to be someone who died. So we have that body. They've investigated it, and we found that they have an address in New Eden. Okay, cool. This might be a good time because I haven't been doing it because you know it's like I'd like to take a moment and just figure out what my current theory is like at this point.
Good point, yeah.
Because we have lots of juicy stuff here.
Yeah.
Really, people are going back and forth. But why are they going back and forth? It has something to do with the cops.
And also, why would they land up dead if they're going back and forth?
Because we were there, right? Like we might have spoken to them. They were being silenced before we got there, you know?
Right. So they know something the higher ups don't want us to know, or whoever's in play doesn't want us to know.
Yeah. I mean, if they came from the other city, maybe it's smuggling, right? Like maybe it's something moving from this city to that.
That explains the organist. But what about the initial two murders? We weren't investigating them. They're still dead. In fact, we only started going down this trail because these two people died. So
yeah.
Could it be that those are accidental, or that feels too much, right? Two deaths feel very accidental.
Yeah. No.
I don't think the Grown believes in coincidence. I know high tech does.
I think the Grown. I think Officer 23's ideology is like that fatalism, right? Because the Grown is just declining. I think Officer 23 is like, yeah, they were probably betraying whoever they were supposed to work for. Like, you know, just these like, oh, like they fucked up, and like so it's they got what was their bosses knocked them off or something like that. I think he has a dark conspiracy for why they were killed. Okay, I like this. I like where we're going with this. Well, is this my question or yours? Now I'm confused.
Good question. I think it was. What was the previous one?
The previous one is.
I did the intro, so it's your question.
Okay. Yes. Oh, a scent or an act of political theater interrupts your day. Where were you needed? I mean, this political theater thing might give us what is actually happening. Okay. I think suddenly Officer 23 gets like a message. I don't know how messages. I think messages in the Grown are very like someone has to come and find you and give you a piece of paper. Like that's the only way to get a message. So I think that's how like I was summoned to, to whatever the police headquarters looks like in this city, some sort of, again, a uh, crumbling cathedral of law. And I think on the way there, we get interrupted, like we're blocked off, like this thoroughfare is blocked off because there is a protest. And I think they're protesting that decision to like lock down the two cities from each other. I think this is a protest to be like, we need to open up these borders. Like I think people from the ground want to escape. I think that is the sense of like this despondence is really kind of getting to them. So I think this is a very sad protest. I think everyone's kind of like gloomy, but they're holding up signs and they're like, trying to talk about opening up the borders. We get stuff. Yeah.
Interesting. So we have two cities that don't want a lockdown, and yet, in this case, does it mean that they want more travel between the two cities?
Yeah, I think primarily they want to escape this city and go to the other one. I think there are people in the ground who want to go to New Eden. Yeah.
I wonder what someone like. I think we need to know more about the initial two bodies, because we know more now about the organ.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. We should angle in that direction. Okay. You see a vision of something to come. What makes you believe it? Trap.
This is so. I'm wondering a vision of something to come, and I think most likely what I'm imagining is a collision of sorts, and I'm not in my mind. It's a metaphorical vision in the sense that I'm not sure what it represents, because I just see collisions. But I'm wondering if it means a collision of two cities, or collision of two detectives, a collision of power. There's just many ways I'm going, but I'm worried that if we don't stop what's coming, it will likely lead to a massive conflict.
Okay, is this like Detective Jignesh suddenly getting serious? Like, is this like a, I would have taken like 500 like rupees and like been happy to like file this case as unsolved permanently, but like what has changed for him? Is where does this vision come from?
I think it comes from, like you said, I would have been happy to drop this, especially when the stakes started going up. But now the stakes have gone too up. Now it's a question of we all might be in danger, and I might have to just do my job for once.
Is there someone that Detective Jignesh cares about at home? Like, is this like question of like, does it affect anybody else other than him?
I think Detective Jignesh doesn't necessarily. I mean, he might have a cat at home.
He has a cat.
Yeah, he has one cat, but not at all based on my cat.
Yeah.
But I think more likely that Detective Jignesh, for all his faults and all his leering that he does actually care about all his colleagues. And so even though he will come in and grumble about his work and be lazy, he brings donuts every day, right? There's a part of him that cares deeply.
Okay. Yeah. Nice. I don't. Yeah. Yeah. I'm seeing this. Does this mean that like that receptionist that he is leering at? Like, is that a serious thing? Like, is he working up the courage to like ask them a question?
I'll take a leaf from Disco Elysium. I think his expression got stuck during a formative year in his childhood, where he thought that that's what he thought is approachable, and that's just now what he looks like the whole time. He saw a film and he saw an actor do this face, and he thinks that's cool, and it's just stuck now. Doesn't know how to seem approachable without doing that face.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, Indian movies are the cause of
Many
everyone's
cons.
downfall.
Many, definitely.
Nice. I like that a lot. What does someone do that reminds you why you never wanted to cross over to a recording? Okay, I'm going to say a recording because I think this could be the one that busts this whole case wide open.
Right.
I think you get sent a recording because I mean I don't know how the grown recordings would work. I think
Hey,
you get
there's all those old vinyl megaphones.
like
Maybe you get
someone
one.
etched vinyl. Yeah. No, I think it's like a digital file that gets
Yeah.
sent to Detective Jignesh, and it is I think it's those two people who died, right? Like it's both of their voices. I think we get to we identify it's we don't know who this person who sent us this, but it's those two people. It's their voices, and they're plotting. They're plotting to blow up the gate that is the border. Like I'm imagining this border is some kind of like interdimensional framework, right? Like if it allows you to cross over, and to blow it up.
Oh man, I have theories now. I have
I'd love to hear that.
Okay, I think you're totally on the right track because the more time I've spent with Officer 23, the more I felt like there's something missing in my life that Officer 23's life has, right? Like, I think when they get to go to a church and feel, even in a small space like this, connected with the experience, I don't feel that when I'm in a crowded concert, right? Because everyone's on their digital devices recording the concert. Um, and similarly, I think that maybe there are things in my world that are things Officer 23 probably wants, right? Not many, but maybe some. And I think that what that's hinting at is that while we remain incomplete, um, there is a hierarchy that remains maintained, and likely that these doors facilitate the maintenance of this hierarchy. So these people who were killed were likely trying to break that down. They were fighting the power that
Yeah.
allow oppression, essentially.
Yeah. I think that's exactly what they're doing. I think it was an act of like political terrorism. I
Yeah.
think they were trying to blow up something that
Mhm.
keeps these two cities
Mhm.
apart. What does this mean for us? I don't know. Like
No idea.
this is a moment for these two detectives to
Yeah.
decide where their political leanings lie.
I can imagine both of them sitting over a cup of coffee and a cup of tea, and both just kind of silently meditating on the implications and whether they even want to go ahead with this. Nice.
You brought this up. I think Officer 23 is gonna reveal some sad history about why the grown is the grown. I think
Nice.
Officer 23 is going to be like, oh, we had a revolution and we succeeded, and we realized that the one thing that shouldn't happen is that we should. It seems like as a society we decided that we shouldn't, like, only bad things happen when we come together, and so we actively dismantled everything that connected us, and that made communication like easy, and we did it because we didn't want to repeat that kind of disastrous revolution. I don't know whether this is history or propaganda, but this is what Officer 23 believes has happened and why the growth is like this.
Possibly both are true. I mean, you believe it, and it is how things are.
Yeah. Okay, next card. It feels like we're getting to like the end here. I see the solution. I feel like there's just a piece missing. Anyway, this is your card.
What seemed to be dead, a dead end, but wasn't, and a note. I almost feel like a note is. Um, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with the question. What seemed to be a dead end but wasn't is, I think initially, we thought that the organist address was a dead end because it was just an empty house. But now we realize that at certain periods of time, and we just went at the wrong time, basically, it actually becomes a meeting room for the factions that are at play, and we just need to come and like catch them in action, essentially.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is this the faction?
I think that's trying to bring down the doors.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the organist was a part of the same group that these two people were. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. You meet someone who seems like a friend. What did they offer you? A clue, a name. I think this is exactly what it sounds like. I think we attend the meeting. I think as detectives, like we could sit outside and kind of try to spy in, but I think that suggests a different genre of cop. I think this is the sad cop who like knocks on the door and
I'm like, hello, my name is Detective Jignesh. How are you? I'm here to ask a few questions.
And I think they react. I think there's nowhere to run, so they answer our questions, and I think I think what they offer us is like there's a moment where like they tell us everything that you've said, right? Like that this is this is a political group, like they're essentially were planning an act of terrorism. They say that they sent us the recording. Like this is the reveal, right? They were like, no, we wanted you to find this out, and they're like, I think what they offer us is a chance to do the right thing, which is that these two people were assassinated by Officer 23's boss, Officer, Officer 8. And they're like, if you want to do this the right way, like that's who you have to go after. And yeah, I don't know what the fuck did we do with that.
Both of us are like, oh shit, that's never a good thing.
It's the one thing we didn't want to do.
Yeah, definitely don't want to. Like maybe we just start. Maybe you move to New Eden, I'll move to the Grown, and we just forget about
it. We change our identities.
Just forge a new life for ourselves. It's easier than getting involved in this mess. But then I'm haunted by the idea of the collision. So on to the next one.
Oh, the collision. I would love to pay that off. Like what? Yeah. Okay, collision. Question. Does that sound a bit like explosion? Like in the sense of like what does Jignesh think about like these terrorists blowing up this building? Like now where does he stand in this moment? Is he like that collision could be a good thing? Am I now these people are trying to create that collision to some extent, these two cities colliding?
I think depending on where you're standing, that's either a good thing or a bad thing. Because for many, it will mean something gets broken that they don't want breaking. For others, that's exactly the kind of thing they want broken. Right? So it's the question is, where are you standing? From whose perspective is this collision happening? Are you the one crashing into things intentionally, or are you the one kind of trying to stop it?
Yeah. The worst place to be at an explosion is right next to what's blowing up.
Yep.
Okay, nice. I think redemption for Detective Jignesh is suddenly on the cards. Like, how did this happen?
Maybe. That's why you need terrible characters, because then they have a chance.
Okay, here's yours.
Okay, you smell a trap. Why are you still tempted to walk into it? Ah, man, Detective Jignesh was set up for this. It's just, it's just too. I can tell that if I go try to catch the people who are not. So what I've understood is that there's a faction and they remain unnamed that is trying to make a collision happen, right? And I've also suspected that there is essentially my higher ups, right? Like your higher ups and my higher ups who want to stop that from happening. And they have invited us. My boss has invited me to a meeting. And I know that that's not a good sign, right? Like my boss doesn't actually want to talk to me. This is me going too far. but they've invited me and I have to go because if I tip my hand, if I deny, then I'm definitely just destroying the plans that the faction set up. So I have to now go and confront this.
Okay, cool. So Jignesh is walking into a trap, knowing that his boss might be on him, knowing that he might be killed in that room because he wants to confront them potentially and also keep up the veneer of potentially not knowing this what he knows. I like this a lot. What did you bring your partner as a gift? Through a whisper. Okay. This is taking a genre turn at this moment.
Sure.
This is in moving into action movie territory, but I think what I'd like to add to that thing you set up was that when you go to that meeting, like my boss is there as well. I don't think I'm invited. Like I think it's just you, but you're told that, oh, like your superior and Officer 8 will be there in this meeting, and they both want to talk to you. And I think the gift I give you is a weapon that won't beep when you go through a metal detector. I think this is like, as you head to that meeting, I kind of like hand you something and I say like,
right.
I hope,
yeah,
maybe there is the right thing to do in the situation. I don't know what it is. And I give you this and I kind of let you go.
Amazing. I feel like this will be the kind of weapon that can only be found in the ground because it's just wood mostly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's it's like an old weapon. Like maybe it's just a knife. Like maybe
it's like a steak. Maybe it's just a steak. Who knows?
Yeah. Oh, I
love
that.
it. Yeah. And I'm like, nope, that no one's going to check for it. In fact, even if they see it, they'll be like, it's a steak. What do we do with it? The idea seems so foreign.
Do we want to end on this note as you walk into that room, or do we want to answer the question of what happens after this?
I think we should end on this note. That sounds very exciting.
I think we're at a good part. Okay, there is one of the questions is exactly suggests that we might have to, but we can think about that anyway. The last card says, so what we've done is that at any point in this game you can go to the last card, and that's what we've done. So it says here, take turns, starting with the player who drew this card, which I think is you. I think it was your turn, and you pick one of the two detectives and answer one of the following questions from their point of view. Okay, the two questions are: how does their theory reflect the city they come from? Or, knowing what they know, what do they do now?
Pick one of the two detectives and answer one of the following questions. I could technically answer both. But wait, is it me really? I thought I answered the last one. No, wait, you did. Okay, this is me. Okay, I'll answer. What is this theory reflects the fact that I think for a people to be whole, you need many different facets that can be seen that I think humanity in ways has tackled at different eras. Like there was a moment of spiritualism and this focus, and that kind of got half the picture right? But there was other things that were lacking in it that we figured out later. Maybe the sense of like relativity or just variable truths or whatever, right? But when we got there, we abandoned this other essence of spirituality. We were like, no, it can only be one or the other. And these theories reflect what happens when you divorce them completely and create two separate realities that don't allow for the other to exist. And that kind of slowly strips away at that part of you that allows for complex humanity to exist. I don't know if I'm getting too philosophical.
No, it's cool. It's cool. Nice.
And knowing what they know, what do they know?
No. So you need to answer only one, and I basically
because I was like, I don't want to answer that one. I don't think Jagnesh will answer that.
Yeah,
Cool.
Like I feel like because you didn't answer that, we'll never know what Jignesh does in that room. But I think for Officer 23, I think what did they do now? I think Officer 23 goes back to that meeting room and joins up with that faction. And I think the last thing that we see from Officer 23 is them saying, I could carry the bomb, you know. They won't search me or something like that. Yeah. How are you feeling about that?
I see. Interesting. I like that. I think that I was saying this when I played Blade Ride with Tree as well. There is something about stories, games like these, where at some point, if you have been, if you have at least figured out your character, or and the character could be the city or you, there is an inherent momentum that the story takes up that you start sensing, right? And it's that sense of like, this feels like the right ending. So I like that. Yeah, I think that that's a sweet little short story we just got to experience. Sweet being a operative word over here.
Yeah. I can't tell. I can't tell at the end of that whether anything that happened was good or not. Like
Yeah, I think for a moment both the detectives felt like they did their job and that was good for them. But whether the reality will play out in a way that they would have liked is a question that remains.
Yeah. I like the fact that even the quote unquote dark ending is like very clear, right?
Yeah.
Like like Jignesh fails, Officer 23 fails. They're like this, like the story gets over for both of them very quickly after that last scene,
Yeah.
right? Like uh and there is a kind of maybe a more um a better ending where they actually like do something with their lives. um
Perhaps, but I don't think for well, you tell me, are there happy endings in a world where it's like Neo New Eden and the Grown exist? They feel like worlds that are inherently going to call for a level of sadness, inspirational sadness, but some level of like a bittersweet ending.
yeah, there is like there is definitely a kind of story that this game ends up telling. Like even that little thing at the beginning where it says, "Oh, sometimes uh, it's not people who kill, it's systems." Like in one sense, that's an acknowledgement of like, oh, when you play this game, very often you head there. But it's also like a, hey, if you're not thinking in this way, like I'm seeding that idea. Like this very much is like an interesting direction that this game will help you like take that story. So yeah,
Yeah.
it is yeah, it's very often that this game ends up with a story about how these detectives can't be detectives anymore. Like it's just like that very much is, this ends up being their last case, even though like
I
at
think
no
that's
point do I suggest this.
it draws back to the noir and neo noir kind of genre, right? When you're big, I mean, you probably know this, but noir came out of like the Depression and World War II, I think. So there was this sense of grimness, this sense of the world is a dark and bitter place to be, and anyone who's trying to do the right thing is eventually going to regret it in some form or the other. Um, and so, yeah, I feel like detective stories peaked there because I mean, I enjoy the other detective stories, but I think the quintessential exploration of how justice is not an easy thing to get is just timeless. It works. It's just great.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a really, I mean, that's a really good way to put it, I think. Yeah. If noir stories capture, I never saw them in that light about like how justice is a is an impossible thing to get. But yeah, I think this game is also very much telling that story sometimes.
Yep. Awesome. All right. Thomas, thank you so much for coming and playing this game with us. It was super fun. I'm glad I got to finally also play a game with you. I think this is the first
Yeah.
game. Yeah, it's great. I want to do that more often. Um, you can find Thomas at Chai by Post, if I'm not mistaken. Yes.
Yeah.
So Thomas, just plug all the things you're working on right now: the podcast, the blog. Just tell
Yeah,
us about
yeah.
again.
Yeah, so ttrpg.substack.com is the newsletter. It goes out every week. I put a lot of work into it, and if you're not on Twitter, like that's a great way to follow the indie RPG scene without wading through that storm. And the podcast is Yes Indeed, Indeed as in INDIE, .buzzsprout.com. You can also find it through my Twitter at Chai by Post. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And also now we need to announce the winner of the Duet game bundle. We did a random name generator thingy, not a random name generator, random name picker. I didn't generate a random name. Kata, K-A-T-T-A-H, you're the winner. Daisies and Dragons or someone will be dropping you a link to the Duet game bundle so you can enjoy these 20 indie RPGs. Thank you for coming and watching the stream. All right, everybody. This has been lovely. You will see us soon. Daisies and Dragons is not back next week, but the bundle is on sale till next week. So if you want to buy it, you should buy it now. It's crossed the 50% mark, which is awesome. But Daisies and Dragons is not back next week. We'll be back soon with a brand new short campaign of a different system. So stay tuned for all those details. All right, that is me talking done. Bye-bye.